17 million people, 7,000 islands. Yeah, the Philippines are one hell of a big place. It's a good idea for you to know something about this country and the people that live in it. Let's go back 400 years to 1521. That's the year Magellan sailed into this place on his way around the world. He landed on the island of Samar in the middle of the group. The Philippines got their name from Magellan's boss, Spanish King Philip, the great-grandson of Ferdinand and Isabella, who financed Columbus. Incidentally, Magellan made the mistake about a month later of leading an invasion. He got into a scrap with some of the natives. His round-the-world cruise came to a quick finish here on the island of Mactan. This is Magellan's monument. The Philippine hombres were tough fighters then, and they're still tough. Don't like invaders. Don't like Japs. See this cathedral? And this one? The architecture's Spanish. Here's part of an old Spanish wall. Philippine money. Get the name, peso. That's Spanish too. You'll find lots of Spain all through the Philippines. Reason? The Spaniards ran the Philippines for 3 centuries. That brings us right up to 1898. This is where we came in. Admiral Dewey. Fire when ready, Gridley. Battle of Manila. Too bad you can't see this in action. We didn't have a Signal Corps combat camera crew around in those days. Yeah, that's when we came in, the first time. For the past 40 years, 17 million Filipinos shared Uncle Sam with 130 million Americans. They have many universities, among them the great State University of the Philippines. This is the University of Santo Tomas. They've been studying here for more than 3 centuries. Silliman University on the island of Negros. No studying here during the occupation. The Japs used the classrooms for army barracks. They learned the 3 R's American style in high schools, grade schools, everything taught in English. Kindergarten, just like at home. They shared our daily setting-ups. School for farming. The Filipinos also shared another kind of American school tradition, one of the U.S. Army's oldest and best, our West Point. It's the general. This picture was taken before the war, when he was in command of the military defense of the Philippines. There were some Americans who saw the need for organizing the defense of the Philippines long before the war. Working with the Philippine government, they set out to build a tight, hard army of Philippine regulars. Even long before Pearl Harbor, the Jap menace was there, ambushed behind diplomatic lingo and grins. Maybe you'll get to see the military academy on Luzon. It's modeled after our own West Point, right down to the uniforms and precision drilling of the cadets. The Filipino GIs were trained like us. We shared with them in this, too. There were 4 of these tough Filipino GIs for every American fighting and dying on Bataan and Corregidor. They've shared the fighting. They'll share the final victory parade. Supreme Court of the Philippines. They shared our long tradition of justice. Those fine, intelligent faces are the faces of civilized men, guarding the laws of a civilized nation, dealing in civilized justice, a term the Tokyo criminals don't understand. And here is their House of Congress. The Filipino legislators built their constitution based on ours. They made their laws as we do, by the consent of the governed. Laws for the Filipinos, by the Filipinos. They had a president. When the Japs invaded, he set up a government in exile in Washington to be ready for the day when we would liberate the Philippines and once more bring it into the society of free nations. His name, Manuel Quezon. Quezon did not live to see this moment of liberation. He died in America. But his vice president, Sergio Osmeña, is carrying on the same fight. Like Quezon, the second president of the Philippine Commonwealth wants only to see his country and his people living in independence. They are a deeply religious people. 90% of them are Christians. The Philippines is the only Christian nation in the Far East. They've been Christian ever since the Spaniards first got there. Like us, they're a mixture of a lot of races. If you hit a beach like this down south on the island of Mindanao, you'll meet this kind of Filipino citizen, the Moro. The Moros are Mohammedans. They look peaceful here, but they can fight like hell. Their favorite weapon is the bolo, a wicked piece of steel a top sergeant could shave with. They use it on everything, including their enemies. They fought the Spaniards for over 300 years. After 1898, they fought us. Blackjack Pershing battled against them in his captain's bars long before he battled against the fathers of the Nazis at Chateau Thierry and the Argonne. In 1913, they buried the bolo as an instrument of war and took it up as a tool for peace and prosperity. They joined hands with the rest of the peace-loving Filipinos and earned their right to independence. Their biggest town is a place you've been hearing about, Zamboanga, the place where monkeys have no tails. That's one of the monks. See? Just a stump of a tail. When we get in, the Moros may put on a USO dance for us. It'll be like this. These Moros are a race of Filipinos with a culture and traditions, with manners, with beautiful clothes, and with pride in themselves. They have learned to trust us because we have learned to trust and respect them as fellow Americans. They dance, but they're hard-working. You might see a Moro woman husking rice like this. Or you might see this kind of human transportation, or this kind of house moving. Or you might see this on Saturday night, or this on Monday morning, and this every day in the week. A lot of them earn their living out of the sea.